WillNisley.com. Will Nisley.
Fridays are kind of like a cab triple 1260. They're awesome, and that's a subject we'll explain later on today on CNN 10. Okay, first story. U.S. President Donald Trump has voiced his support for a prison reform bill that's currently making its way through Congress. It's called the First Step Act. First Step standing for Formerly Incarcerated Re-Enter Society Transformed, Safely Transitioning Every Person. That's a lot. Here are some things it would do. 1. It would reduce the number of mandatory minimum sentences for certain crimes, focusing on people convicted of non-violent drug-related crimes. That could mean many inmates serve less time in prison. There's a way for prisoners to earn extra credit for behaving well and participating in things like educational, religious, or job training programs that could help them get out sooner, but convicted murderers and terrorists would not be eligible for that. And the act would attempt to place inmates in prisons that are closer to their homes as a way to increase opportunities for their families to visit them. The White House says this will help decrease the number of people in overcrowded prisons, decrease the costs of incarcerating criminals, make sentencing more fair, and better prepare inmates to re-enter society as productive, law-abiding citizens. But some critics and lawmakers have said it doesn't go far enough to reform the criminal justice system, while others have said it goes too far without punishing criminals enough and potentially making communities less safe. The first act passed in the House of Representatives earlier this year with widespread support from both Democrats and Republicans. The president's support is expected to encourage its passage in the Senate, possibly in the current lame duck session, which wraps up in early January. 10-second trivia. Which of these countries has the largest population? Canada, South Korea, Venezuela, or Saudi Arabia? With more than 51 million people calling it home, South Korea is the most populated country on this list. The fact that all airline flights were grounded Thursday in South Korea so that students wouldn't be distracted while taking a test shows you how important the test is. It's the nation's College Scholastic Ability Test, the exam that high school students take to get into college. The grade they get puts them into one of 9 brackets. The higher the bracket, the better the college they can get into. Some students take the CSAT test more than once, hoping for a slot at South Korea's most prestigious universities. And controversy welled up earlier this year when a school administrator was accused of helping his twin daughters cheat. They say they're innocent, but a parent who says they aren't also says cheating probably happens in other places. The stakes are high. This time around, almost 600,000 students took the test. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, there was a 50% increase in vaping among middle school students last year and almost an 80% increase among high school students. In fact, the agency says 1 in 5 of them smoked electronic cigarettes in the past month. The numbers came from a survey conducted in schools. Health officials are worried that vaping can get kids hooked on nicotine early in life and lead them to try smoking and other drugs. So the FDA has proposed new rules concerning flavored e-cigarette products that could eventually lead to their being removed from store shelves and websites. The rules do not target mint, menthol, and tobacco flavors because the agency wants to keep them accessible for adults who try to use them to quit smoking.
What kids don't realize is that this small e-liquid pod that comes with a Juul has as much nicotine as 20 individual cigarettes.
It's been devastating to us. This is not a product for youth, it's a product for adult smokers. One of the things that we've done is accelerated adding a warning to all materials that talk about Juul, whether they're in a convenience store or online. There will be 20% of the space showing that this product contains nicotine.
All right, so today we're going to do the 4th lesson on e-cigarettes. So e-cigarette flavors, let's look at what we've got here. Hawaiian Punch, Gummy Bears, S'mores, Skittles, Cotton Candy, Sweet Tarts, Fruit Loops, Banana Splits. Who are advertisers trying to appeal to with these candy flavors?
They now come in over 7,000 flavors. Kids who use e-cigarettes, they do so precisely because of the flavors.
Spend some time in a vape shop and see the customers that come in for these wildly named products. They are adults, and they are the same type that watches Family Guy on Sunday nights.
No adult smoker needs cotton candy or gummy bear flavor or packaging that looks like candy. But we believe it's incredibly important for adult smokers to have access to flavors in order to switch and to stay switched.
I know it's supposed to stop smokers, but I think it's almost helping teens get introduced to it.
All of these flavors mask the harshness and make this feel like it is a totally benign product.
Most of my friends that use it, to them, they just think, oh, it's water vapor. There's nothing of it.
This product contains chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects or other reproductive harm. Okay, I never read that before. Doesn't make me feel great.
E-cigarette is delivering a chemical cocktail. The story of flavorings goes back almost 20 years now when we first started looking or seeing disease develop in workers at a microwave popcorn packaging plant. Workers back then were mixing kernels with fake butter flavor. Diacetyl is the name of the chemical. And they were working over vats where the fumes would rise up and they'd be inhaling these fumes. Well, many of these workers developed a severe and irreversible lung disease called bronchiolitis obliterans. We now call that disease popcorn lung. Well, that's very similar to what's happening in an e-cigarette. You have a heating element, you have the flavoring chemicals, you're heating them and constantly inhaling them. Some users might see warnings or labels that say our product is diacetyl free. And that might be true, but the reality is that to get flavors, the many thousands of flavors of e-cigarettes, they have to use some flavoring chemical. And there are chemical cousins to diacetyl that are on the market right now.
The problem here is we're not telling the whole truth. We're only telling the half-truth. We're talking about the harms of e-cigarettes, and we never mention that they're much less harmful than cigarettes.
When we talk about switching to e-cigarettes, we talk about the relative risks. We say e-cigarettes are safer than cigarettes. Everything is safer than cigarettes.
Adult smokers have a right to know what's in these products, and we believe and support reasonable regulation.
Reasonable product standards. But what the FDA has proposed is not regulation, it is prohibition for over 99% of products on the market today.
If the e-cigarette industry can demonstrate that any of their specific products actually help smokers quit and can be marketed in a way that doesn't addict another generation of kids, we would welcome that. What has happened in the absence of regulation? Millions of kids are using them because of the flavors, and smokers who want to quit still don't know which, if any, of these products are helpful.
So back to that Cab Triple 1260 thing. What that is, 3.5 full rotations in the air. Done well, it looks like this. But it had never been done before by a woman until this week when 27-year-old Austrian snowboarder Anna Gasser landed the trick. She says it was the first time she ever even tried it. Beginner's luck? Probably not. Gasser is an Olympic gold medalist who's also won multiple titles in the Winter X Games. So there's no debating she's got an edge when it comes to putting her best foot forward on an invertical caballerial, grabbing a more than 50-50 shot at Euro carving her way into the record books. Even on a non-binding first attempt, it makes a great tale. That's all for CNN 10 this week. We will be back next Monday and Tuesday before we're off the air for the Thanksgiving break, so we hope to see you then.